Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hey.
Hello.
All right, so why don't we start by going around the room and sharing a little bit about yourself and what you're building. Also, feel free if you'd like to present. You can click the present button and showcase a little bit about what you're building. I'll add it to the stage. So Shia, let's start with you and let's just go across the board.
Thanks, man. Appreciate the opportunity to come and join this panel. My name is Shia Stark. I've been in Web3 since the end of 2020. Been in crypto since 2011, technically, but just a creative, curious mind that likes to tinker with technology. And my friends and I founded Metivate as a side project in 2021, helping our less technical artist friends participate in this wild space. And since then, we've started focusing internally and building tools for the ecosystem that we love. Currently, we're working on this app called Rafflecast. We started with the V1 frames framework, and we're in the process. We're so close to getting it to V2 mini app. It's a way for anyone with a Farcaster ID to create a raffle in a frame. And yeah, we love supporting community engagement and providing additional value to on-chain assets.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Shia.
Thanks, man.
Crystal?
Sure. Hey, everyone. I'm Crystal. I'm an engineer at Artemis, which is a on-chain data analytics company. We're focused on bringing transparency and light to crypto for all users. And specifically, I work on our terminal web app platform, which is free to all users. Currently I'm working on a couple small side quests, I would call them. One is the onbase.dev minimalist simple base dashboard, which also has the world map of our USDC stores. And then more recently, I built a really small, pointless, fun mini app on Frame or on Farcaster called Booped.
Would you like to share a little bit more about Booped real quick?
Oh, yeah. So Booped is basically an on-chain version of Facebook Pokes for those of you who are old enough to remember. Really pointless feature, but also really fun.
And one of the top on the leaderboard.
On launch day, it did. It caught up on near the top. It was really fun to see it sort of skyrocket for the first few days.
Really cool feature. All right, Robin, who are you and what are you building?
Awesome. Hey everyone, thanks for having me. Good to be here. So I'm working on an app called MoshiCam, and it's essentially on-chain Polaroids on Base. You can kind of digitize your photos in fun, unique ways. And we recently launched an aura reading experience where you kind of you get a Polaroid photo of your selfie, but there's this cool aura effect based on sort of your personality. And we launched that through our mobile app, but also kind of added as a companion experience as a mini app on Farcaster, which was really awesome, really fun, just good to see everyone's faces. And yeah, prior to that, I was working on Gallery, which is sort of like an NFT display app. By the way, all this stuff is built on Base. And prior to that, I was at Coinbase.
The Base love, gotta love it. All right, Casa.
Hey guys, hi everyone. So I'm a software engineer. Now I'm working with the Builders Garden, and we are building mini apps on Farcaster. Currently, our biggest mini app is Farville, and we also built Better, which is a betting platform also there. What I actually do is basically full stack. I would say mostly everyone is full stack in our team. We have a designer, for example, but we try to do the most we can. And we like to experiment, and that's it basically.
Mire?
Hi everyone, I'm Mide, and I work with Caso in Builder's Garden. So he just says everything about Builder's Garden. Just another project that is very nice to sit to talk about is strings. Because a couple of months ago, we also tried to create a new Farcaster client. The name was Strings, and yeah, basically we created a client that is very similar to Reddit, because yeah, in WordCast and other clients that are currently online, everything is a lot Twitter-like. So the conversation are very short, and we would like to create something that is more focused on forum-like conversations. And this is one of the other projects we built in the past. Yeah, one of the main one, I would say. Yeah, and
Okay.
that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Towards the end of the stream, I'll ask all of you guys to present at least one thing. You definitely don't have to if you don't want to, but prepare yourselves if you do. So we started off these sessions about 2 hours ago with Woj, and we talked a little bit about the Farcaster versus Warpcast naming situation. And before we really dive into the meat, I was wondering if anyone had any specific thoughts. I know someone does. Come on. Who's going to be the first
I
to say?
can
Yeah,
I can
yeah.
admit I was confused. I wasn't sure until very recently that they were kind of used interchangeably.
Yeah, I mean, this is the problem that they want to try and clear up, but from a builder's perspective, does it help to have the protocol be named something different than the client, especially if you're a client builder?
I think one solution could be to link the client name directly related to Farcaster. Yeah, I think the main problem is not from the builder perspective, but for the end user one. For example, I say to my girlfriend, "Come on, join Farcaster, is amazing," and she went to the App Store, types Farcaster, and they told me, "Oh, here I don't find Farcaster. What is it?"
Yeah.
So yes, it's a little bit difficult for not Web3 people, and especially builders, I would say. So yes, it's a problem, but I think we need some difference between clients and Farcaster. So I don't like that WordCast can become Farcaster in the name. So this is my idea.
That's a good call out, Mita. I was, one factor is we all heard about Farcaster first. And so that I think is in everyone's mind as like the seed that sprouted the roots. Those of us that understand what a client is, it makes sense. But I think the majority of people, and we do want a lot of people to participate, it might be easier just to sum it up with Farcaster. I'm kind of going back and forth with it.
Yeah, it's not an easy problem to solve. But anyways, so most of you have, I believe all of you actually have built a Farcaster frame before. So we had Samuel on right before you to give a little bit about how to build a Farcaster frame, why you would actually a mini app. I can't believe I'm even still calling it a frame. Maybe we even could talk about the transition from frames to mini app. But I'd like to hear from each of you on this. So if we want to just go around again and chat about your experience with building mini apps and one challenge.
Because I can kick it off real quick. There weren't a lot of documentation when we started building and making our frame with V1. So that was an issue. There's decent documentation now for V2. But even so, using like the demo app for a mini app, we ran into some issues where authenticating wouldn't create a session, and we had to kind of get over that hurdle. So there's still some, even for a technical team, there's still some hurdles that you got to figure out and navigate around.
Crystal, how was building Boop?
Yeah, so when I first built it, to be honest, I really wasn't familiar at all with building on Farcaster. So I had actually just built it as a web app. So Dan reached out to me and asked me to see if I can turn it into a frame at the time, was when he called it. And so, yeah, for me, I kind of ran into that struggle too, since I had built it as a web app first, and trying to convert it into a mini app was a bit difficult. There wasn't as much documentation that I would have liked. But I was, really lucky. There's a DM channel or chat with a lot of devs, as well as, Linda helping out. And then I think another challenge was Nanar was an API or SDK that was recommended by a lot of the documentation. But it wasn't clear or obvious that it would be costly or it would cost money in order to build with it.
Yeah.
And so I think that would have helped to know ahead of time. I was really lucky that Rish gave me like a 1-month trial for free, which is really nice of him to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a bit of a surprise.
Shout out Rich. He's the man.
Yeah. Nanar is amazing. It is amazing tooling, but it definitely is can get expensive depending on what you're building. Robin, how's your experience with turning MotionCam into a little mini app?
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, it was awesome. It didn't take that much time, super chill. I thought the docs were pretty solid. There can be some really tough docs out there. I feel like we've all seen them, but Farcaster, like they had a level of polish that I thought was pretty good. The one thing that was really tricky, and I don't know if this is like a solved problem now, but debugging like logs, right? Because essentially you're kind of building a website, but you're kind of loading that within a mobile device. And so just kind of being able to pull up the console there, like see what's going on, see network requests, that wasn't super intuitive out of the box. So I kind of had to just like, make my own makeshift little debugging stuff. But I think, yeah, debugging frame logs, I think would be awesome. Maybe this is already out there, but yeah.
I don't know of any open source solution that currently exists, but I'm sure whoever builds it will get some usage. Casso.
Yeah,
and
sure.
you can talk about Farmville or one of the other projects. Yeah, totally up to you.
Yeah, sure. So, as Robin was telling about debugging, one thing that is related to it, I would say, is the responsiveness, mobile responsiveness of the applications. Especially, for example, on Farmville, we noticed that not a lot of, at the start, a lot of users stayed in the app. Then we added a tutorial. And for some devices, this tutorial wasn't really good, but we didn't notice. And this was a problem. So we basically noticed that people didn't use the app a lot after starting using it. And it was because of the responsiveness. So we added a responsiveness feature to Frames.js. So the thing that basically everyone uses to build the mini apps. And now it's way easier to see if, for example, people that have, for example, iPhone 5s, which are really small, are able to see mini apps in the good way. But other than technical stuff, I would say that it's difficult to understand if you are doing things right from a social perspective, because mini apps have to be really social, and if you don't build the social features in the right way, probably the mini app will just fail. So that's really important, in our opinion, to keep that part really strong.
Mita, anything to add there?
Yeah, I think they talk about everything. Just one thing about what Robin said. Now, Frames.js added a good stuff to console log everything about your app. So I think it's the best tool that you can use now for Frames v2 or the mini apps, because you can basically create everything on your local host and log everything there, and it's like building a web app for the A to Z. So I think it's the best tool. At the start, at the beginning of the Frames V2, it was very difficult. I joined the Romero contest for the first Frames V2, and there was a chaos because the documentation was going very fast. So you build your app, and the next day huge parts can change. But now I think we reached a good standard for the main parts of the mini apps. So it's very straightforward if you are familiar web apps. So yeah, I think just this to add the yeah.
Yeah, really great points. And I really was interested in what you were saying, Casso, about how tapped in you need to be to the community and how much distribution you need to have for the actual success of your mini app. Would you guys want to talk a little bit about the community on Farcaster and how it differs from Twitter, for example, and why it might make sense for developers to participate more in this ecosystem rather than an alternative?
Hell yeah. I can't kick it off. Farcaster's been like a breath of fresh air for me on a lot of different dimensions. But from a development perspective, I was immediately impressed with how fast developers were shipping new stuff there. I've never seen it anywhere else on a social platform. I mean, you really don't see it on a social platform much at all. But all my developer friends, were participating in this space, and it really drew me in. A lot of resources available, a lot of great people to bounce ideas off. You get feedback really fast, and yeah, those are some of the things I appreciate.
Crystal, as someone who was like newer to the ecosystem at the time, how did you feel the reception of the community?
Yeah, I would echo what Shaya said. I think the community just is quite different from what I see from like Twitter, for example. Everyone's just so nice and uplifting. I think builders are really experimental. They're extremely helpful. I've had people just DM me just to help me bounce ideas off of each other, share ideas, and even just the users. Like on Farcaster, I don't really have much of a presence, but just the sheer number of users that just used my mini app because they just wanted to have fun. I think you just can't get that elsewhere.
I completely agree, and it's funny because I actually think, Crystal, that I DM'd you like almost 2 weeks ago on Twitter, but you responded to my Farcaster DM or like DC like a week ago or something, like much faster. And
Yeah.
it just goes to show like how hard it is to like contact people on Twitter versus Farcaster. Everyone here I contacted on Farcaster just DCs, and also goes to show how helpful the community is, how involved everyone is, how willing everyone is to contribute and create value for each other. So I mean, it's such an amazing community. It's super special. I'm super glad we can have something like this. Shout out Dan and Varun and team. Robin?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just echo what you said. I think I think just by trying Farcaster is a leap of faith in and of its own, right? So I think there's like a lot of skeptics or people who have or sort of like on the fence, right, about trying a new thing. And so once you're like in Warpcast, once you're on the app and you're kind of set up, like just in doing so, you've kind of taken a leap of faith and action where you're like kind of leaning into like, learning something new, trying something new. And so since everyone on Farcaster has kind of cleared that hurdle to try this new thing, I think everyone's willing to try new things within Farcaster, if that makes sense. It's kind of like baked into the DNA of being on this new interesting experimental app. So yeah, I mean, we'll see. Like, hopefully this lasts. Even once Farcaster becomes mainstream, but I think that sort of like early experimental, vibe has been really helpful for just finding people to try out your stuff.
It's true. If you're willing to cross the chasm to Farcaster, you're probably willing to try mini apps and not only receive these airdrops, but also try out the app that comes along with it. So it's definitely true. People are curious on Farcaster. It's infectious. Cosmo, Mide, any last things to add about distribution and community?
Yeah. So, like for example, one thing that I saw that I used to use a lot Twitter, but now that I migrated, let's say, to Farcaster, I tend to use it way less. Sorry. So I saw that on Twitter, like the focus is more on the speculative side um, of crypto. At least maybe I don't know. Maybe it's because of the guys that I follow. Maybe so because of my circle. But when I tried, for example, to put posts about development or building, let's say, the posts weren't noticed a lot. And on Farcaster, it's really different. It's full of builders, so it's really easy to get noticed and also maybe to help other people. And I really like this thing. And also, if you want to provide feedback or to receive, it's also way easier there, I think.
I definitely agree.
Yeah, from my side, just to add another perspective, on Farcaster, I feel like I have in a Web3 hackathon, let's say. So I don't know if some of you have ever been in a Web3 meetup in real person, but there everyone is open to new people and wants to talk, wants to engage with you, and I don't know, the feeling is very, very different from the other platforms. Everyone is open and kind, and yeah, if they're to also hear from you your point of view, and it's something that I didn't find on other platforms. So yeah, if like you are in real person with people and not yeah, just numbers or something like that, yeah.
It's a really great point. I mean, it is the builder's town square, especially even around the base ecosystem, like not just Farcaster, but it's drawing in a lot of adjacent ecosystems. So it definitely has that in real life vibe. Okay, so Robin did talk a little bit about Farcaster going mainstream. I'd like to ask, get your guys' thoughts on how you think the platform's going to change and develop, and how you think that will not only benefit your platforms, but where it also might create some hurdles for your user experience and beyond.
I didn't know if I wanted to go first for this one.
Yeah, I was gonna see if you're going to or not. Yeah.
There's so many unknowns, right? I mean, is the question how do I think it's going to happen, or how would I like it to go?
Answer it the way that you heard it. Feel free to answer either question.
If I were to predict, I think unavoidably money incentivizes people. We saw a huge rush of new users onboarded, last year and the year before because of, potential, gains. I kind of have mixed feelings about that. I think it's a necessary evil, but it's also, it's not why I'm there. But so I think there's going to be some combination of that expanding, being easier, more enticing, and other cool apps that we can throw at people that, really make them feel good about spending their time there, either on the platform or in our app with the platform.
It was my first thought, but that is the biggest obstacle for sure, is the amount of speculation that will be happening on Farcaster.
Yeah. Cool.
Crystal, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I would say the same. I think it's hard because everybody, there will always be incentives for making money, especially in this space, right? But I do agree that it is a necessary evil as we onboard more people.
Mm-hmm.
I do think that I think right now I'm enjoying the time just because I feel like it's still early and we're still in like the beginning fun phases of it all. And I'm glad that we're all here at this point because I do think that it will continue to change as we inevitably, get more users. But I do think that it'll also bring more and more, developers and builders who help make these mini apps even more complicated in a great way, right? And keep pushing the limits of it. So I think overall it'll be good.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, yeah, good comes with the bad. Robin?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, obviously, like we as developers are all really bullish at the idea of having a wider distribution, wider pool of potential users, and as we have different apps, right? I think there's a lot of excitement around Coinbase Wallet, but presumably there's going to be many different clients, right? Plugging into the same social graph, the same social feed, the same experiences, and that is going to just sort of create this awesome positive cycle of development usage. It's going to be a flywheel and it's going to be great, but um I'm still having trouble, I guess, like talking about Farcaster with like my family, for example, right? Like I have a younger brother who just like recently graduated college. um my parents, right? And some of my good friends who I think are still, we all know these people, right, who are like a little bit allergic to the idea of crypto, right?
Right.
And
For
so
good reason.
I think yeah, exactly. And so I
Yeah.
think I'm still kind of like waiting. I'm still kind of like, yeah, waiting with bated breath for like, a breakout application that I think will ultimately be built on an open protocol and crypto rails. But I feel like even now with all the ways to make money and all the cool mini app experiences and all that, it's still not quite at a point where like I'm comfortable like just shilling it to everyone I know. But I think it's getting easier to get to that point, I think.
Yeah, it's taking some time to get there for sure. But I mean, we had that conversation with Woj earlier about just making onboarding more frictionless, and right now it is far from it. It's not even necessarily like what Farcaster has, like the bad parts of what Farcaster has to offer that we're worried about. It really is just like how complex and confusing it is to the average user at the moment. But of course, we all love those complexities. So this is the hard solution. Gasso?
Yeah. So actually, I really wonder what's happening when things go nuts. Let's say because if there will be a lot of users, it will be like way more developers and way more also users, like normal users. And I would like to see how composability will play out. So let's say maybe apps built on top of other apps, or other clients or mini clients, like it's already happening, for example, with the live chat that has been built in the last days. And I also would like to see, like, for example, way more mini apps where I can see my friends, because I feel like it's really cool that I don't need to every time create a new account to other platforms, but it's cool that I have the account, like the main Farcaster account, and that I can use it everywhere. I think that's really cool, and it's one of the biggest potentials probably, because you have your social graph linked everywhere, and you will find your people everywhere. So it will be fun to see people on a game and in the other part on a DeFi app, possibly. So yeah, I think that we will notice more of this stuff when there will be even more users than now.
Yeah, as Farcaster continues to solidify its current experiences, I think that's exactly what's going to happen. It's going to become a lot more obvious for how people can plug and play and build Legos. It's a modular ecosystem, so we got to build for it.
Yeah, exactly. Like it will take a bit of time, of course, but when it's time, we will see what happens.
I agree. Mide.
Yep. Just to add another thing, I think Yeah, a cool thing that is that Farcaster, in my opinion, is following a good road now. For example, also with the Warplet. So this wallet that is directly inside your Farcaster client and helps a lot end user that are not familiar with the blockchain and tokens and these kind of topics. And I think that we are going to the correct road. Also to onboard the new users and also this concept of abstraction of all this complexity. So I think that Farcaster could, for real, be the key to onboard the users not only on decentralized social networks but also on decentralized technologies in general. So tokens, DeFi, and stuff like that. Yeah, I see it with Farville, for example. A lot of users have made their first transaction because of the application. So yeah, mini apps in general, not only Farville, can give to these user noobs, let's say noobs that just approach the blockchain and Web3 in general to try this technology with an easy UI and experience in general. So yeah, I think we are a good point, and yeah, we are following it in the right way.
Yeah, Crystal and a few of you spoke about this reflexive loop between developers bringing users or developers building apps, apps bringing users, etc. And I want to ask you guys, and Samuel also before you spoke about how he uses Farcaster as this, feedback iteration loop for whatever he's building, no matter whether it's just an idea or something more polished, to get immediate feedback and high quality feedback at that. So I want to ask all of you here, and we might as well flip the order this time. Robin, it won't make a difference for you, but just for shits and giggles, let's do it. How can we shift the mindset from ship? This is also a question from the comments, by the way. How can we shift the mindset from shipping to users to building with users?
So I will start in
Yes.
this case. Okay. Um, Well, I think one approach that also works very well is, for example, Farcade, where you can generate basically something like a mini app just with a prompt. So with AI and also new technologies, I think we can create some mini apps that allows people to create something. So I I'm trying just to imagine a new application or a mini app, let's say, where you can move blocks and create your mini app with a UI, for example. So something like Scratch or yeah, a Canva style where you can move blocks. You can put the connect wallet button, and everything is just pre-configured behind. So something like that could help them to be to not be users but to become builders. So build for them directly. So if they have an idea or they want something on Farcaster, they can just create it on their own, and they don't need to have tech competitions.
Mm.
So this is my first idea that comes to my mind.
I love it. It's really important, I think, for more builders to be thinking in this way.
Yeah, I will go with the less figurative way of, let's say, building with users. So, like, I really agree with what Mide told, and I think that another good way to do this is actively listening to users' feedbacks. Like, for example. On Farville, like recently, we are having a lot of bugs because yeah, like we have a lot of users now, like since the start. So we need to scale, for example, the everything. So yeah, we are trying to catching all the errors from all the users possibly, and fixing manually all the things so users are happy and still are able to use the mini app. but also, for example, we ask actively like what do they want from the mini app, like if they want new features. Sometimes they also request them, so it's really cool to see new ideas appear. And yeah, I think it's really important, because if people try to recommend you what to build, I think it's really good, because people care and really like what you're doing, and are genuine users. Like they are not just farming in the very let's say way of saying it. So they are not just playing just for the airdrop, let's say, but also because they are having fun. And
Right, they actually enjoy it, and I'm really glad you brought that up, because I did have an issue with Farville pretty early on, where I was claiming
yeah.
crops and then I didn't receive it, and I think DC'd Limone about it, and Mide reached out to me like 2 days later and was like, "Yo, like, is it solved yet?" And I was like, "Yo, like, this is the type of,
Of
relationship that
support, yeah.
the builder and the user should have for sure."
Hmm.
And yeah, just like you said, this is how you make people happy, and this is how you scale a game. So
Yeah,
really
exactly.
appreciate
Like
those words.
I think it's super important. Like you have to try to support everyone as much as you can, at least.
100%.
Yeah, I I think the really unique thing about shipping on Farcaster is it's literally just like it's just like a massive conversation of like your users, right? It's like your user you literally just see what they're saying, which is kind of very different than, let's say, you're like a big tech company like Instagram, Snapchat, and you shipped a cool feature there. You have no idea who it's going out to, right? You have a general sense, right? But you don't know these people on a personal level. Um, and imagine like if you have all of your users that you're shipping to, and like you have almost like their social feed, right? And you can literally see what they're saying about your app. Like that's what Farcaster offers. Like you're literally right there with them. Um, and so the feedback loop is just like so powerful in an environment like that. And the other thing I'll say is just like just ship iteratively, and like share like your works in progress, right? Don't wait for like to polish like a fully built out experience and just put it out there, and hopefully it goes well. Like the more often you share and the earlier you share, you'll get feedback. People are generally really open to trying new things, and it'll really feel like you're working with the end users to build sort of an awesome thing. And I know it's like intimidating sometimes to put something out there that isn't fully fleshed out, and maybe you've made some very obvious mistakes, but ultimately it's worth it, and it will help you get feedback, and it'll actually help you get to the finish line. And I feel like we have so many projects where like we we kind of procrastinated launching it, and it never got to launch because it kind of never reached what we thought was that perfect state. So yeah, just like ship a lot, and share imperfect things.
Yeah, I agree with Robin on the ability to get instant feedback loop on Farcaster. I think like I think a week ago, Linda actually started a DM group chat that's like mini app testers.
I'm gonna
And
try
I
and
thought
post
that
it.
initiative was really nice.
Yeah.
It's basically people just want to test out new apps. And I think if we were to even go so far as to like create a channel for it, I think combined with their new tips feature, I think that would be even better to create some form of flywheel. People who are building, they could share their mini apps in that channel. If there's a lot of, they see a lot of recurring uh, users giving feedback, they can just instantly tip them, right? Like it's like just out of gratitude for taking the time to test their apps. I think that would create such a really nice flywheel where everybody wins.
I'm posting the link she's talking about right now in the comments for anyone who wants to join. It's really useful. I watch it and test out many apps all the time if I have time to. It's really fun and really helpful for people. So there's no reason not to. And you get to be early.
Nice. Well, I'll sum it up with my last comment on this. share often, share your progress often. And that goes along with, letting your participants feel heard. I think I can relate it to, building Rafflecast. We initially had 2 raffle types that you could select. You could token gate a raffle for ERC 721 or 1155 NFT collections. And we started hearing that people wanted open raffles that didn't have that token gating. And, we shipped that pretty quickly. We've since, created, enabled more raffle types for our app. So, showing that you're listening and sharing progress often, just to kind of sum up what we've already called out.
All right, so I think that pretty much sums up that part of the conversation. However, we have one more very good question, and it does sort of relate. One more question from the audience. What rituals, spaces, or incentives can we create to help end users feel like a part of the community and not just consume? And I think that's a very interesting question for people who are building like products or games specifically, because even something like Farcade, you need a community. You thrive off community. It's very hard to build something without that sort of community. So, how exactly can you truly make people feel like they're a part of the community, or make them a part of the community, I should say? And let's go in the reverse order again.
Okay. I think Caso already answered this question, because I agree with him when he said that when you create something and you have the Farcaster community and people in general that are reaching you saying, "Oh man, I have this problem. Can you help me?" Or I have this feedback because I don't like this. Can you change it? Or this is my idea how you can improve your product. And when you just listened and made the edit to your project based on this feedback, you make people feeling like a person and part of this community, and not just a consumer or a number on your mini app. So I think this is the best answer of this on this question.
It's
Yeah.
funny because somebody actually also asked, how does one technically go from a user to a builder? And that's almost exactly how you go from a user to a builder, is start requesting features that will make the app or the game better. And then from there, just education, education, education.
Yes, you just be part of the process. Basically, you are a
Mhm.
builder from that. Yeah.
That is the very important part, is making the user actually one of the builders, one of the team members, and then they're part of the community. But how do you get them there first, right? What draws them in first? What sort of habits do you create for them, and why is it effective? How are you guys thinking about this?
Like I think that maybe like you should find something that users should do, for example, daily or weekly. Let's say, I don't know, with a practical example, maybe um, I think that could be useful, would be a vote, a community vote on something. So maybe you propose something, and you open something, I don't know, a poll with Ponder, and you decide what to do based on that. So actually, it's like people is deciding what you have to do through that. So yeah, like for example, these kind of things maybe can involve even more people. Or maybe another thing is just asking daily on the channel what's going on. So if people prefer to do specific things on your mini app, or what they ate, and yeah, just scrolling through the answers and see what people are saying. It's interesting, and lets you even agree or not if you are also using it. So yeah, I think maybe every mini app can try to find the right ritual for that.
Robin, anything to add?
All right, I'm so sorry. What was the question?
It was about what rituals do you want to create for your community or for your users to make them feel like they're actually a part of the community.
Right. Yeah, I knew that. So yeah, I think so. Our just plugging like our sort of like RR reader
Mm.
mini app. It's not necessarily like a daily use case. It's kind of almost like this one time thing that we put out there. But what we did was we kind of grouped Farcaster users into different sort of personality categories essentially, right? And we did that using a totally open data set. We didn't have to ask you any questions. We just like looked at your cast history and we're like, hey, are you like a generally optimistic person? Which I think most people on Farcaster they are, but do you cast a lot? Like how many times a day? Do you cast like long form or like do you share lots of videos? Like, and so we try to, do our and it's not like an exact science obviously, but ultimately you were sort of assigned like a gemstone, right? Like topaz or ruby or whatever. And then we grouped you with, or we sort of showed you other people within the community that shared your essentially your color, your personality. um and so I think an experience like that could help you sort of introduce could help introduce users to other people within the community who like maybe you know think similarly or think very differently. um and I think if we were to sort of continue pushing on that and take it to the next level, then like I'm sure you could run competitions or events, right, that are sort of like gated depending on your result. I think also like crypto the game that does really well, right? um so yeah, I like those kinds of experiences I find super compelling, especially if you're like a brand new user who like might not know like what the community is, right? Who's in the community and like who can I start talking to?
Yeah, 100%. Crystal, anything?
Yeah, I would say maybe my experience is probably a little bit different from everyone here, just because like Metivate, like MoshiCam, Fireball, these are like really big apps with a lot of users. Mine is just a really simple, very one-dimensional, fun, app. And so, for me, I would say it's much. I mean, it's just me, so I don't really have time to go do a lot of analyses or whatnot. But I would say like two things. One is just to be really customer obsessed. I think, and in this case, consumer obsessed. People have reached out, they've asked for things, and if I have time, like I would immediately try to build it as soon as possible. Especially if it's like really small improvements. The second thing is, give recognition to the top users. So I like when the tips feature came out, I did earn some developer mini app rewards. So just like sharing some of that with the users. I didn't know that you had to use it all in one go, so I only tipped one person. But and I think the tips feature is no longer there, or it's not there anymore. So, but yeah, if it comes back, like I would love to do that more, right? Just like regularly recognize the top users, and that's pretty much what I've been doing.
Crystal, I think simple apps are awesome apps. So there's no
Thanks.
no at all. And to that point, our attention spans are really short. Most people's attention spans just continue to get shorter. So I think, calling out a ritual, it's about giving someone the most amount of value in the smallest amount of time that they're going to be interacting with your tool. So just keep it at a high level there.
Okay. So that's just about it for the questions. I would really love for you all to share something of what you're building. You definitely don't have to. You can share the mini app, hopefully that you've been working on, or one of them if you're working on multiple. Just go ahead and click the present, and then as they come up, I'll just add them to the stage in the order I see it, and I can let you guys shill a little bit about what you're working on. And also remember, audience, make sure you send your base names. I want to see those base names stat, ENS, ETH address, anything that you have.
Okay, I can start if you like.
I see Crystal's screen up here first.
Okay.
So it
Yeah,
looks
yeah,
like
no problem, no problem.
yours isn't up yet. Did you add it to the present? There we go. Shy's up. All right, we're gonna go ahead and let Crystal go, and then we'll move around.
Cool.
So you're now
Oh,
sharing your
sorry.
screen, Crystal. Yeah.
Yeah, please ignore all my tabs. There's a lot open right now.
Oh my
Um,
God. Actually, I didn't even notice it was so bad.
Yeah, so I'll quickly share Booped. Yeah, it's basically, like I said, it's just the on-chain version of Facebook Pokes. So yeah, like, I mean, right now I have a lot of outstanding people who've booped me, but I need to boop back. Yeah, shout out to Huang Envy, who's booped me 22 times in a row. But yeah, it's a really simple app. You just go there, you just boop people if you want, and then you see an active or a live feed of the most recent boops that everyone's been booping each other. And yeah, I have a leaderboard up on top. We have the top boopers. Yeah, so Solijati is my number one booper. So that's the person that I tipped. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
And Crystal, how did your experience go from like having built this as a web app and then bringing it to Farcaster?
Yeah, I think in terms of the web app was obviously, it was the front end is quite straightforward. There's not much to do. I think Statue just booped me. Yeah, it wasn't crazy hard. I think it was just getting through and understanding the documentation, because I pretty much went from 0 to 100. I had never even looked at the frames documentation before, nor have I actually even interacted with the frame, to be fully honest and transparent. So yeah, it was more of the learning curve of what it was and how to get it into one. But after getting into it, it was like really straightforward. It wasn't even that much code that I needed to add.
And then in terms of distribution, you saw a difference?
Oh yeah. I can share, if that's okay. I can share.
Yeah. You're sharing your screen right now, so whatever you'd like to share.
Yeah. So so my company Artemis, we track a bunch of applications, and so I added Booped to it. It's obviously fallen off since then. But when I can show you when I launched on Farcaster, which is this date. This is my first date. This is the second date, and then I think it kind of chugged along for a little bit, and then just like spiked at one. I think it peaked at like 489 users in one day. They did like 1,800 transactions.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, definitely Farcaster's DAU or daily active users is quite high. So yeah.
It's incredible to see. Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah, of course.
All right, Shaya, you are up next. Mide Caso, get those presentations up there.
Oh, Shai, I think you're muted.
Oh, back. Okay. This is Rafflecast. These are what you're seeing are some raffles that have been created by Farcaster users, and you can see, username, the contract they use. These are token gated raffles. Some of these are open. So let's see. We have a winner's circle. You can see one. When someone wins one of these raffles, a notification comes out on the feed, and direct cast is sent to the winner and the person who created a raffle. Let me see if I can. The demo gods will be good to me. I'll sign in real quick.
Yeah, you got this.
Shout out Privy. I love Privy for the auth.
It's so nice, so fast.
Yeah, it really is. Okay.
Already signed in, just like that.
Boom. So here you can select your raffle type. Currently, we have token gated 721s, 1155s, ERC20s, and open raffles. We have a passphrase coming soon and some other fun stuff coming soon too. But you can select a blockchain. We like Base. You give it a title and all that jazz you can select here. I'll just do one live. How about
Yeah, let's do it. And then post the link in the Twitter live chat.
I don't know. Well, yeah, we could just do one for fun, or we can have a reward, or
yeah, just do one for fun. Yeah, and still post it.
Yeah, all right, post it. All right, well, this one ends tomorrow. Boom. Let's pick a quick. Let's do a ball Jesse just for fun.
Oh, nice.
This will load. Bada bing.
Perfect.
I just created. So
share that to Warpcast, and then share the link in the Twitter live chat.
okay, cool. Is it gonna let me? Oh, you know what? So this is the Rafflecast account. I'm signed in
Oh,
on my browser. I just did it with my phone, which has my account.
yes.
That's okay. I can still grab this link and share it. But if I was signed in the browser here to my account, I could click that and it would put me into creating a cast. I can add a channel if I want or add some text, but it auto generates some text and then the frame. So that's how that all works. But yeah, thank you for
Amazing.
checking it out.
Thank you so much for sharing. And Robin, you're up next.
All right, sweet. So this has absolutely nothing to do with sort of our company and what we're building right now. But this is, I guess, is something that a side project that I just started on yesterday,
Some
and
alpha.
yeah, wanted to just share like I guess the sheer diversity of stuff that you can build. And so here I just like build kind of like a music player. So this is my Spotify playlist. It's like a public playlist. Um, and as you can see, it's a work in progress, so it's not handling that really well. But you can sort of click on any of these and it'll just start playing.
Oh,
And what gave me inspiration for this was with mini apps, you can actually play audio and minimize it within within Warpcast. So I thought, you know, like I don't think we have any like really like music specific frames, at least like one, you know, kind of like players essentially.
no player.
And I just thought it'd be really cool if like, you know, I assume like most people have some sort of playlist that and you know, maybe you like to share it with your friends, and so maybe you can sort of really easily um embed your playlist as a mini app, and share it with people. And so just like starting like super simple with that idea. I haven't really, you know, thought beyond that, in terms of, okay, like maybe these, you know, this can look different, or you can sort of create collaborative playlists, or you can, you know, maybe like mint this, or, you know, tip the playlist creator, or, you know, have like channel specific ones. I don't know. But just kind of starting with this, and again, just like experimenting with the fact that you can actually have audio playing in the background now. So yeah.
Yeah, really great thought. I mean, there's so much you can do with the minimization, and I love that you just went straight to like, oh yeah, now we can just like play music while we scroll the feed. Like that's really cool idea. I'm really curious to see where you take it.
I like that it looks like a
So
record player when it's active.
yeah, I tried just kind of stealing that. So the really annoying thing though is you have to authorize your Spotify when you want to use it. So you can't just like open it and start playing all the music. You can like look at the contents of the playlist obviously, but if you want to actually stream it, there will have to be a step where you like sign in with your Spotify account. But yeah, other than that,
I guess you
it's
could
been fun.
pull like sound.xyz songs for now or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's definitely more lenient platforms out there.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Robin. Really appreciate it. And next up we have Mide.
Yep. So this is Farville. Basically, it's a farming game where you are a farmer on all aspects. Here, there are your items that you can use to interact with the grid. This is your fields. In this case, I'm on a more advanced state, but a beginner farmer starts with a 2x2 grid. For example, here I can boost some of my crops. We have different boosts based on the crops. Here there is the market where you can buy more seeds, and each seed is related to a crop with specific statistics about the growth time, the XP you get when you harvest them, and also you can sell them in the market to have coins. And yeah, adding to the base game, we added more social features like the quests, where you can donate to other users and also receive items from them. and obviously share the request to the feed. For example, let's share this. So when people see your feed and scroll, they can just donate to you some crops in this case. And also adding to this, we also add the leagues, so where people can compete on another level, like Statuette and Samuel does, for example. And we also divided it in more leagues, so people compete based on their grid size. And yeah, here you can see the different levels, also a global leaderboard and a friends leaderboard, so you can compete against your friends. I don't know if Caso wants to add something else on the game.
Yeah, like I would.
You're muted, Casa.
I'm muted actually. I just discovered
good.
it. Okay, so I wanted to say that one thing that actually improved the application, I think, is the leagues. So the thing that Mida just shown, and that's because when at the start the ranking was just by experience. So basically, who started first had a lot of advantage against the newcomers, let's say. And we also saw that a lot of newcomers didn't play a lot, even probably because of this. So we were thinking about adding these leagues, so everyone. So for example, I joined today, and I can already be competitive from today, and not whenever I reach level 20 or whatever. So yeah, it's important to find a way to make the game appealing for every kind of player, let's say.
Yeah, I didn't realize that you eventually got new plots of land. I guess I haven't gotten far enough yet.
No.
And of course, Statue said that we need an anti-Samuel league, so we'll see if that comes in.
Yeah,
Let's
that
do
would be
something.
like the best thing ever. I actually want to see what happens when leagues arrive, because probably it's the end, like it's the end game.
I guess I'm more worried about if Samuel and Statue end up teaming up to form their own league. That would be dangerous.
Yeah, like basically they are the most competitive players, so like, maybe just all the people leave Farville because of this, because it's impossible to beat them.
Yeah, the two most toxic players destroy the rest of the game. I guess this
Yeah.
goes to show, if you create rituals that are too good and your community, takes over the whole platform, now you got the opposite problem.
And then it's for real decentralized.
Yes, and that's truly crypto native.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for sharing everything today. I really appreciate you all being on here and taking the time out of your day to share more about what you're building and share more about yourselves. If there's any last things that you'd like to say, chat about, or go over, shoot them now or forever hold your peace. All right. Welcome home
Thanks
and
for
welcome to
organizing.
Homebase.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very
Appreciate
much.
it.